and it's also happening right now. You know, how did he know that he would be so intricate in a reparation in 2021? How did he know?
So when you look at this, you think of it as, you think of his time at the Peace Corps developed premier school in Nigeria. You think of his time there as a kind of reparation?
I do. Because he could have gone anywhere. He could have done anything with that education he had. He didn't have to take it to Africa. Why? Why would he do that? You know, it had to be something inside him, you know, that said, this is good, you know. So, yeah, I do.
And so one of the things that we are trying to practice is not only thinking about reparations as something that we could give now, but also as something that we could give back, and that's something that ordinary people can do. And so Rick Machmer started his career in Nigeria in 1967, and while he was there, he started with the Peace Corps Premier School for boys. And a year and a half in, the Biafran War broke out, we'll say. And he had to leave his school because it started to be too dangerous between ethnic groups in the region in which he was living. And almost lost his life. So he tells this story, and it's written in this journal, and I know it well, so I'm going to just tell it, but here's his writing. And what happened was, as he was getting ready to leave because things were dangerous, he's packed up and ready to go, and he tries to leave, and he's stopped by soldiers in the Civil War, so by Biafran soldiers, and they are ready to put him in front of a firing squad. And he says he's innocent in this whole thing. He's like clueless almost about what's about to happen. And they put him in front of a wall, and there's soldiers that are about ready to draw their guns. And one of his students runs out and says, "You can't kill him, he's our principal." "That's my principal." And they put the gun down. And at that moment, one of the chiefs of the group, in which there were several different cultural groups connected to the school, and one of them wrote him a letter on letterhead that we still have. My mother has it, that says something like, "If you are caught by anyone on opposite sides of the Civil War, that this letter will help you get through." And so he has this beautiful handwritten letter, and that's what got him through. But before he left, the families of the students gave him this gift. And
I want to talk about the gift. So this, when I first was introduced to this, it's called a Galette mask.
Can I spell it?
Yes, please.
G-E-L-E-D-E.
Galette.
Galette.
And there's lots of different cultures that have the Galette masks, but I would like to talk to you about how important it is. When I first saw Galette, it was at Liz's house, and it was on the landing. It was on the first landing on the floor. It was just sitting there, and my heart was was bleeding. It was bleeding because what she represents is Iyanla, which is Yoruba for great mother. So with them giving her to him meant that he was protected by the great mother, the mother as represented by all mothers. You know, so it was very important to me that she sit high up because she's represented and honored by all cultures, and it's every mother. It's like it's an icon for all the mothers, and she shouldn't be on the floor. So I asked Liz, I said, would you please just put her up? And she did right away.
And let me add that Rick always had her in the highest spot.
Yeah.
So I knew that she had to go high, but I didn't put her high right away, and that was wrong.
But you did.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah, I love you. You did put her high. You did. And I was just so happy to be able to see her, but I was like crying. I was like, oh, she needs to be on the floor. Because you know, what happens is there's the great celebrations in Nigeria, and Galette is also in Benin and other cultures that honor mothers. I mean, this is just one culture that honors mothers, but this mask just means so much, you know, to me. It has, you know, she's beautiful, and she's, I'm sure, had many decorative clothing, but just to be given as a gift is an honor because it's worn as a crown. It's not worn over your face. It's worn on top of your ori, which is on top of your head. You know, so it represents just everything mother, everything beginning, everything creative, everything protective, everything, you know. So yeah.
And we found out that this particular one was, what year? 1817?
Yes.
It was carved in 1817. And we found out that Rick, he didn't really want to take it.
Right.
Can you tell that part?
I think you should tell that story.
Well, we found out that the families of the children gave it to him.
Yeah.
And that he understood the paradox of that. He understood that as a white European elite, that taking it was not right, and but not taking it, what else?
Not taking it would have been disrespectful for him not to take it. It was a gift, and you take it. Please take the gift, and I'm glad he took it. I'm glad he did, because it, you know, in certain cultures, it's not always cash. You know, sometimes it's food. Like you go to grandma's house, eat all your food, you know, or sometimes it's oranges, you know, or something, lemons or eggs,
cookies,
and things like that. It's not always money. So it would have just been disrespectful. So he did take it, and it landed in, you know, with the family. It landed with the family, and I'm grateful. Rick had a lot of things that landed with the family, so I'm grateful for that.
So Daph, she cares for this one now. This one's at her. This Galette is at her house now.
Yeah. And it's very high up. It's just at the highest point in my house. And people come and look at it and go, "Wow, what's that?" And I'm like, "Look at her. She's like looking over you and everybody that comes here." And it's just, I'm grateful. I was so honored when Liz allowed me to be the caretaker, you know, because it'll forever.
I am honored on behalf of my relative that we had it for as long as we did. So, white lady's crying.
And black lady saying, I love you, Liz. I love you. She, you know, it was like really, there's this thing, I'm just going to go ahead on and say it. It's a thing that, it's like sometimes I go to white people's homes. Sometimes I go to white people's homes, and what happens is I see artifacts of my history just sitting around like it didn't mean anything ever, just like something, you know, like a souvenir. And these things are actually like embedded in my life. It's like going to like taking a lion to a zoo, and you've got some animal sitting on the head of an animal, and the animal looks up and goes, but that's my family. That's my life. That's my history is right there. And what Liz did was prayed about it, talked about it, and said, it's okay, can you take it back? And I was like, yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, you got to understand that type of, for me, it's very endearing. I'm sorry, I'm kind of caught. It's very endearing, and it's like what they're doing now in certain countries that are giving the artifacts back to the owners. You know,
Germany and Benin.
Right. It's happening now, but we've been doing this, so they're copying what we've been doing already. So, you know, little things can be literally given back. If you know your family history, or someone knows their family history, and they know that they acquired that fill in the blank. I'm not going to say illegally, because at the time, the Times said those things were legal, but without moral compass. Let's say that. Let's say it was morally incorrect, even though it may have been legal at the time. So let's just do something different. You know, let's give the recipes back, or give credit. Let's give credit to the recipe, the person who actually showed you how to make that apple pie. Grow tobacco. Wring the chicken's neck. Whatever it was. Let's just give credit to where you really got it, wherever it was. You know, it might have been your grandma, your housemaid named Nettie Mae, who did ABC, and you might have taken it for yourself. So, mind you, Nettie Mae was my grandmother, and she did day work. So, yes. All right. Thank you. I love you bunches.